What if I told you that your beloved avocado toast might be funding cartels, destroying entire ecosystems, and contributing to one of the most violent industries on the planet? Before you scroll away thinking this is just another clickbait health scare, stick with me because what I'm about to reveal will completely change how you see that green fruit sitting in your kitchen right now. I'm not here to shame you for loving avocados. Trust me, I get it. They're creamy, they're Instagram worthy, and they've become the symbol of healthy eating for an entire generation. But there's a dark side to the avocado industry that most people have never heard about, and honestly, it's way worse than I ever imagined when I started researching this topic. Let's start with something that might blow your mind. That innocent avocado you're putting on your toast has earned the nickname green gold in Mexico, and not in a good way. Mexican cartels have moved beyond drugs and are now heavily involved in the avocado trade. We're talking about the same criminal organizations responsible for violence and terror, now controlling significant portions of avocado production and export. Here's how it works. Cartels essentially extort avocado farmers, demanding what they call protection fees or taxes on every kilogram of avocados produced. If farmers refuse to pay, they face threats, violence, or worse. Some growers have been kidnapped or killed for not cooperating with these demands. The cartels have essentially infiltrated the entire supply chain, from the orchards to the packing houses to the trucks that transport avocados to the border. But wait, it gets darker. The money from these operations doesn't just line cartel pockets. It funds their other activities, including drug trafficking, human trafficking, and the violence that has plagued Mexico for decades. Every time we buy an avocado, there's a chance we're indirectly contributing to this cycle of violence and criminality. Now you might be thinking, okay, but this is just a Mexico problem, right? Wrong. The demand driving this entire mess comes primarily from the United States and other wealthy countries where avocado consumption has exploded over the past 2 decades. Americans alone consume over 2 billion pounds of avocados every year, with about 80% of those coming from Mexico. The environmental destruction is equally horrifying. Avocado farming requires massive amounts of water. We're talking about 320 liters of water to produce just one avocado. To put that in perspective, that's more water than most people in water-scarce regions have access to in an entire day. In areas of Mexico where avocados are grown, communities are facing severe water shortages because the aquifers are being drained to irrigate avocado orchards. But here's where it gets really tragic. Local communities that have lived in these areas for generations are being forced to abandon their homes because there's simply no water left for their basic needs. The deforestation aspect is another nightmare. Forests in Mexico are being cleared at an alarming rate to make room for new avocado plantations. We're losing biodiverse ecosystems that took centuries to develop, all to meet the growing global demand for avocados. And here's something that really got to me when I was researching this. The indigenous communities in these regions often have no say in what happens to their ancestral lands. Large agricultural companies and criminal organizations work together to push these communities out, sometimes through intimidation and violence. Traditional ways of life that have existed for hundreds of years are being destroyed in the name of avocado profits. The labor conditions in many avocado operations are absolutely deplorable. Workers face long hours, dangerous working conditions, and extremely low wages. Many are exposed to harmful pesticides without proper protective equipment. Some operations use child labor or exploit migrant workers who have few legal protections. Now I know what you're thinking. This is overwhelming and depressing, and maybe you're wondering if you should just give up avocados entirely. The reality is that the situation is complex, and there are some ways to make more ethical choices if you want to continue consuming avocados. First, look for avocados that are certified organic and fair trade. These certifications aren't perfect, but they generally indicate better labor practices and environmental standards. Avocados from California, while more expensive, typically have fewer of these ethical issues compared to Mexican imports. Supporting smaller, local distributors who can verify their supply chains is another option. Some companies are working directly with farmer cooperatives to ensure fair wages and safer working conditions, though these products are often harder to find and more expensive. But honestly, the most impactful thing you can do is reduce your avocado consumption, especially if you're eating them daily. I'm not saying you have to eliminate them completely, but being mindful about quantity makes a difference. The explosive growth in avocado demand is what's driving many of these problems in the first place. Consider alternatives that can give you similar nutritional benefits without the same ethical baggage. Things like olive oil, nuts, seeds, and other healthy fats can provide similar nutritional value for many of the same dishes. The avocado industry's marketing has been incredibly successful at positioning avocados as a superfood essential for health and wellness. But the truth is, no single food is essential for a healthy diet, and the human cost of our avocado obsession might not be worth it. Here's the thing that really bothers me about all this. The wellness industry and social media have created this culture where eating certain foods, like avocados, has become tied to our identity and values. But if we really care about ethical consumption and making choices that align with our values, we need to look beyond the surface-level health benefits and consider the full impact of our purchasing decisions. The avocado industry isn't going to change unless consumer demand forces that change. As long as we keep buying avocados without asking questions about where they come from or how they're produced, these problems will continue and probably get worse. So next time you're reaching for that avocado, remember that your purchasing power is actually your voting power. Every dollar you spend is a vote for the kind of world you want to live in.